When the nights are cold but the world's on fire and you're scared to fall cause it feels too high, oh, look at you now.
Welcome to another episode of the Alpha Project. Great to have you guys back. Today I was going to touch on 5 things that I learned in my life due to my condition and my surgeries. So as most of you might know, I'm peg fed due to a brain tumor surgery that I had when I was 25 years old, and I've lived with one for over 20 years now. And along the way, of course, has been ups and downs, but there's, like with anything in life, there's always a takeaway. So today I thought I'd share with you the 5 things that I learned and continue to still learn, but the 5 top things that I can take away from my experience with this tumor and being peg fed. The first thing I learned was to focus only on what you can control. In life, especially in stressful situations, we're always looking for things to manage that situation. We tend to have this false belief that we can control every aspect of a negative situation. But really, there's only so much we can do. And staying focused on the things that we can do, acknowledging the things that we can do, accepting that there are certain things that we have no control over, definitely makes the process a lot easier. There's a lot of anxiety, stress, and energy wasted in trying to control aspects that you really just don't have a say in. And rather use all that focus and that attention into doing the things that you can control. The other really big thing that I learned was discipline. I mean, with my condition, it definitely taught me to be prepared. Whether I was going to movies or out and about, I had to make sure my meals were blended, my timing was right. I do think, though, that so many times we can get complacent when we have certain freedoms. And having the freedom of swallowing taken away from me definitely taught me discipline. And with discipline, it's more focused on about creating habits. But the question is, how do we stay disciplined? Like, do we force discipline? And for me, what I found was like creating the consistency of my actions, creating thought patterns that were productive for me. No matter what I do, I always have to plan ahead. If I go somewhere and I get stuck, I can't really just go out and get something to eat, especially if I'm on a diet. I mean, there are little things that we can buy at the shops like Up and Goes and yogurts and things like that we can put through the tube, but they're not sustainable meals. Nowadays, it becomes even easier because at Woolies, you've got already baby food and things like that we can get away with. But realistically, if I have a certain goal that I want to achieve, creating that sort of discipline makes it a lot easier. But it allows me to stay again in the focus of things that I can control. As a parent, if you have a newborn, you're always having to make sure you have enough nappies, enough formula, change your clothes. No matter what you do, you have to be prepared. So creating that discipline in my life has actually helped me in many aspects when it comes to relationships, being a father, my training, and my goals. Just creating the habits and staying connected to what it is that you are going to achieve by being disciplined allows that process to be a lot easier. Remember, you're not self-harming, you're actually self-investing. So when you get up and do something, make sure that you're connected to the reason why you were doing it. It reinforces that discipline process. I am more than my condition. I am more than the circumstances I find myself in. So many times, especially in stressful situations, we tend to identify ourselves with those situations, and then all of a sudden, that's all we are. We're somebody who's sick. We're somebody who has an injury. We are a parent of a high needs child. We are an unemployed person looking for work. We are a divorcee, or we are newly single, and then we identify ourselves with that. And I even see it on people's bios on their Instagrams and things like that. Single mother. I mean, you're way more than just a single mother. I see so many people identify themselves with the process that they're going through at that point in their lives. And I remember a really good friend of mine once asked me, who would you be without your tube, Pedro? And that question actually stumped me because I had been so focused on creating a life with it, I started to identify myself as that. And one of the lessons that I took with that experience was that, like, if anybody had to take my tube away from me, But all the lessons that I'd learned living with it had to go with the tube. I would never want to get rid of it. But I am also more than just the tube. And when we realize that we can focus on other aspects of our life that we are trying to create, and really our circumstances that we're in, like our challenge that we find ourselves in at the time, is often there to teach us the skills in order to get us to the other aspects of ourselves that we want to improve and fulfill. For me personally, I've had to learn not to identify myself as the guy with brain tumors who feeds through a peg tube. And I conduct myself within society and my friends accordingly. So remember, guys, you are way more than just a mother, a father, a husband, a wife, son, or daughter. And you're definitely way more than the condition you find yourself in or the circumstances you're in. The other one lesson that I learned was, and this was a bit of a tough one, and this one I'm still learning the effects of it, but negative self-talk, reducing negative self-talk actually has a larger impact than increasing your positive talk. And becoming aware of the negative speak and the words that I use, because words are solid, right? Even Bruce Lee used to say that words are magical and you can create with it. That's why it's called spelling. There have been some studies that have shown that if we are more aware of our negative talk and we reduce our negative speak, that produces a better response for us anatomically and physiologically, as well as mentally, as opposed to doing affirmations in the mirror and talking in the mirror. Now, I'm an advocate for that, absolutely. But I've done a lot of positive affirmations, and the one thing that I learned is that we can look in the mirror and we can say to ourselves, I love you, or you are important, and you deserve love. You deserve success. You will be successful. You are confident. That all works really, really well. But you'll see in one of the episodes that I'll be talking about desire, belief, and expectancy, the three things that you need for manifestation and creation. But the thing is, when we look in the mirror and we say something negative, like you're overweight, you're not good enough for your job or whatever the case is, we do have these little negative thoughts. And the difference between those and when we do positive affirmation is that there's a part of us that actually believes the negative thoughts. When we do positive affirmation, is what we're trying to do is we're trying to convince ourselves to believe the positive thought. So the one trick that I learned, guys, is when you're doing any sort of positive affirmations, say the positive affirmation, but straight after saying it, try and search for and generate that feeling of belief, of acceptance, of being what you are saying, that feeling of you are confident. Take 2 seconds. You may not feel confident, but search for that feeling. And it doesn't come easy. It comes with practice. And it is a lot of work. And it takes time and patience because you are trying to reprogram your subconscious, not your conscious mind. Because your subconscious mind, when you say something negative, the belief or attachment to that feeling is already there. Which is why I believe that negative self-talk, if it's reduced, will definitely improve your overall well-being. So now I always remind myself, how can this happen to me? It's like, oh, wow, why is this happening for me? Reducing and changing words that you use in your speak that are negative and putting a twist in it makes a massive difference. So that's definitely one of the biggest lessons I learned, guys. FML. Really? FML? Like the guys from Five Finger Death Punch say in their song about life, they should be better, but they could be worse. At the end of the day, it's understanding that, yes, right now at this moment, that's how you're feeling. So instead of changing the circumstances, change how you feel about that moment. It doesn't mean you're going to go from 0 to 100 in a step, but that little switch and change of like, this is happening to me versus why is this happening for me? Your mind shifts and it adjusts and it becomes easier to deal with difficult situations. So guys, be aware of your negative self-talk. If you talk to yourself negatively, no matter what you say to other people positively, it also loses a little bit of its impact. To create a better impact and make a difference with each other, Speak highly of yourself and never ever talk negatively to yourself. And one of the most important things that I learned through my journey has to do with the biology of belief. The book by Dr. Bruce Lipton that I only came across many years later, but kind of resonated with it because it's been my personal experience through the 20 years of living with the tube. So often we think that the body leads, that we don't have control over ourselves or our systems. So if we get sick or we have certain conditions, we kind of become a slave to that condition. Luckily for me, instinctively, given the limitations that I had with my condition, I, from the very beginning, made a decision to make this work for me and not the other way around. So seeing as I had to be on a strict diet, and when I say strict, it's strict for a normal lifestyle. I have to put in more work just to live a normal lifestyle when it comes to nutrition. So I figured if I've got to do the work anyways, I may as well make it work for me and push it to a point that I can actually take this and take my body a lot further and become more than what I am. And hence my involvement in sports and activities, as well as bodybuilding competitions and martial arts. And what I learned along the process was that what I thought and believed, my body responded. So if I feel young, my body's going to be young. But again, going back to that belief system. And in the book, they talk about a study that they took, a group of mature age men. They did full body spectrums on them, checked all their vitals, their cognitive, their blood pressure, the physiology, the arthritis, hearing, eyesight, everything. When they put them back into this, it was a makeshift temple that they had switched and they refurbished it so that it was in the time frame where those men were younger. So let's just say the 1960s. And what they did is they decked the house out with the same furniture, the same surroundings, everything. The men just hung out there for, I think it was 3 nights or 4 nights. And they just spent time together watching old reels on TV because they had the same shows playing and things like that. And what they realized is after those 5 days, all the men improved. All their physiology improved. Their hearing improved. Their eyesight improved. One man actually went in with arthritis and left without it. So what they learned from that study was that they were so engrossed in reliving memories and the energies of when they were younger that their body then responded to what their mind, what their brain, what their mind was saying and feeling. So adapting that to everyday lifestyle is one of the biggest lessons I've learned that keeps me moving forward, that keeps me energized, that keeps me feeling young. What I believe is how my body will respond. If I believe I'm sick, I will continue to be sick. So no, I'm not someone who's sick. I'm just somebody who has a condition that has to be managed. But aren't we all? We all have a condition. It's called life. We're all going to get older. We all owe a death no matter what, but how we live is what makes the difference. So take control of that mind of yours. Speak positively, reduce the negative speak. And the closer you get to your purpose, the more unstoppable you become. Well, guys, that's the 5 things that I've learned straight off the bat from my journey with the tumor. I hope you enjoyed that and you got something out of that. If you have 5 seconds, guys, please like, share, and subscribe. It'd be great to have you all on board. And feel free to reach out and let me know any topics that you'd like me to cover regarding anything in life. Catch you all next episode.